Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex, and once again, this is Big Baby Reviews. Today is ERIK LARSEN Day, that is Saturday, and that is why we are looking at Spider-Man issue 20, cover dated March 1992. A few things to notice on this cover before we dive in. I will mention this is ERIK LARSEN's last kind of run at Marvel before going on to doing his creator-owned Savage Dragon for Image Comics. So I really feel, especially because he's writing this as well, he's just kind of having a ball and playing with all the characters he wants to. I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure these are some of his favorite characters, and that's why he's included them as guest stars. Hulk, who's already been in the issues prior to this. Deathlock shows up, Nova, and Solo as well. Solo's kind of an odd choice, so I have to think that, you know, he liked the character. I don't remember him being that popular or appearing in his own series or anything. I could be wrong there. Also, you know, as far as the villains go, it's the Revenge of the Sinister Six, so he's got the classics there with some updates because the Green Goblin's not available. So you've got Hobgoblin, Electro, Vulture, Doc Ock, Dr. Octopus, and Mysterio as the villain. So I really feel like ERIK LARSEN is just kind of having a ball here, having a lot of fun. He introduces this element here that you can see on the cover, very 90s, where Spider-Man all of a sudden's got, you know, some added kind of apparel. He's got the straps here, something strapped to his back. These, you know, mucho macho cybernetic guns here, as well as some pouches and a belt here. Very 90s. Again, Solo himself is honestly pretty 90s. He's just kind of like the Punisher with a superhero getup on, and with all the pouches and stuff, very reminiscent of kind of a Youngblood, you know, style design. So one thing I wanted to mention about the cover, first of all, it's awesome, and just this kind of uplit effect that you can see if you're paying attention. So he's using kind of these lines to delineate where there's light and where possibly there's more shadow behind. So everywhere where the light is hitting, you're losing kind of the textured webbing look of the Spider-Man costume, and it's just kind of blank. But then with the colors adding in the lighter kind of orange here and yellow kind of hues, I find it really works well here on this cover. There's just something about it, you know. He's done it here too on the legs. The uplighting is kind of more apparent maybe around the knees for some reason. You know, it's just there's all those shapes and stuff. So just really well done. I find that effect there really, really effective. So let's crack it open, have a look inside. So Larsen, if you've read a little bit, he's admitted that Nova is one of his favorite characters. He would have loved to have worked on some sort of Nova series back in the day. This is about as close as he got, at least in these early 90s. I mean, if you're a fan of Nova, I guess, Larsen draws a mean Nova. Let's look at the credits. ERIK LARSEN, plotter, worder, drawer. I like that. Whoever came up with that is funny. Chris Eliopoulos, I guess is how you pronounce that, I think. Printing, so that'd be letters, I believe. Gregory Wright, colorist. Yeah, and then we'll move on from there. So splash page introducing Nova, and I think just a chance for ERIK LARSEN to draw Nova for a bit because he's gone after these first two pages. Just kind of, you know, swoops down to look at Spider-Man, whose ass was kicked last issue, see if he's okay. This was kind of a trope more in the 90s than any other time. I don't remember in the 60s, 70s ever seeing Spider-Man really kind of rip up his costume all that much. I'm sure it's possible. I may have missed some stuff, but I feel like in the 90s they really started kind of, you know, I remember McFarlane doing it, right? This kind of broken eye part of Spider-Man's costume. And it became a trope a little bit, and you'd see it in a lot. Like Larsen's doing it here, doing it awesome. And I mean, I'm not against the idea. I think it looks cool, and it makes sense that Spider-Man's costume, as we know, is like kind of handmade by a teenager, so it's not made in the comic at least, out of any kind of like super durable material. Here we get introduced to Deathlock real quick. Again, I have to assume that's a character Larsen just wanted to draw. You've got kind of the money shot to start us off, right? And storytelling wise, we're approaching kind of the Image style, although ERIK LARSEN wasn't the worst kind of culprit when it came down to doing too many pinups and not enough storytelling. He was always very good on balancing it. So I think he's one of the artists that generally achieves a pretty good balance between pinups, you know, double page spreads and actual storytelling. And I think this series is a pretty good example of that. You know, you get a fairly decent amount of panels on each page. This depiction of the Hulk's always fun. And yeah, so here's kind of the domestic pages. Art wise, he's bringing in these crazy prints. He uses a lot of screen tones. I didn't really mention it, but there's a lot on the cover. Let's go back to that real quick. Yeah, so there's one screen tone here. He's using another kind of parallel line screen tone here on the faces. Where's the other one? There's something else somewhere. Anyways, go back to this. But yeah, so you'll notice on Mary Jane, he's using it for all of her clothing. I think he does it even throughout the whole mini series, these 6 issues of the Sinister Six. You see more of that parallel line screen tone here on her forearm, on the under shadow. And more of a domestic scene, but we still got Spider-Man working on those cannons that we kind of saw on the cover, right? So he's basically upgrading his web shooters to a more 90s level, I guess. More of these screen tones here. Varying sizes as well, he seems to have, so why not? It's always a little hard on the eye in a weird way. At least this one is particularly. Is it just me? So now we get the cool shot, kind of see what he's actually got going there. So he's got kind of a backpack, and the cybernetic, arms here feed the cannons where his usual web shooters would be. So I guess the idea is that you can shoot way more, web for various reasons. Gobs of it. Another cool shot of another hero, or anti-hero, I guess in this case, with Solo. Spider-Man shots, always awesome. I like the shadow work here. This shot here, great. The arm. Larsen, I've always stated, like the dynamic lines, the speed lines, whatever you want to call those, always uses them to amazing effect. And seemingly in the right moments. So here we go. So Spider-Man's about to finally test out, his whole new gimmick, and really what happens is, from what I can tell, is Dr. Octopus gets access to his storage backpack, and all that fluid explodes all at once and creates a huge web that, in this case, has not cut up Spider-Man. For some reason, it never sticks to him, right? That's never been answered, has it? You'd think it would stick to his costume, just like anything else. I might be onto something. Probably not. I was talking about these vertical panels where you don't have to put a lot of information in, just what's important so we understand what's going on. You can totally see this pose here, if I dare say, behind the panel, right? Like, where that arm is and what's going on, and it's totally clear. It's just about choosing the right information, just enough so we understand what's going on without having to fill in the rest. Very cleverly done. I mentioned that with Rob Liefeld a few episodes ago, excuse me. McFarlane does it too, right? It was kind of an image trope. I think McFarlane kind of started it, but make no mistake, I do think Larsen, following McFarlane, did take some of those McFarlane tropes, but, made them his own. And also, just Larsen has the better anatomy, to be honest. Spider-Man, all the wicked kind of acrobatic, very flexible poses, still, I feel, anatomically make sense. Like, how great is this, too? Mysterio here, getting shot up. What a great profile action shot. Again, breaking up the border here, turning it. Those speed lines, great Spider-Man shot, always. Even this, yeah, when I was going through this earlier, like just this panel here, so the word balloon overlaps this panel a bit, so that gives us a bit of depth. And then we've got what's going on in these buildings here, and something exploding, seemingly behind this next panel, right? This, took no time at all, I'm sure. This is such a quick panel, but so effective and so well done. And even just the basic lines thrown down to evoke a city, how simple it can be, and how effective it is, how well it works to set the locale of this explosion. His debris, I love his debris, just very quick, noodly stuff, right? I feel like, wow, if I look at this panel here, I'd almost could believe this was like Klaus Janson or a bit of a Dark Knight kind of feel, I think, just to this panel here. in the inking, right? Very Klaus Janson, very dirty, I guess. That's how I describe it. Are we getting near the end of the issue? Maybe that's what it is. Oh, that's it's exactly what it is. This is the last page. And if I'm not mistaken, this is in around the time ERIK LARSEN had a house fire, and all his artwork up to that point and comics and stuff just went up with the house on fire. Yeah, I think it's in around this issue. So that what might be why this issue, I think, is a bit shorter and has a fill-in story that I don't want to look at. But real quick, just because I'm curious. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so it's just a 12-page story here for a monthly comic. Yeah, this is around that time, and ERIK LARSEN picked up the slack somehow. He talks also about how some of the artboards that he drew on in this miniseries are bigger and some are smaller. I'm not exactly sure which issues there. I'm going to look into that and try to figure that out maybe for next episode so we can talk a bit about it. But yeah, clearly, you know, with that happening, his workload was cut short and they threw in a fill-in issue. Again, that I don't necessarily want to talk about. It's not super interesting. And this is ERIK LARSEN Day anyways, so we talk about ERIK LARSEN. So there you go. For Spider-Man number 20. Join me next Saturday. We're going to move on with Spider-Man 21. Obviously, if you enjoy all the other episodes with all the other different creators I look at, feel free to comment, ask questions, like and subscribe. That always helps us out. And we're on the road to 250 subscribers, and I'll have a special episode once we reach that number. So thank you for the support, all of you out there who've been watching the videos. Hope you appreciate the content I'm putting out, and hope everyone out there has an awesome day.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KingComics.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.